Hello, and welcome to Who Is Best, a show where Japanese game developers don't understand how boobs work.
Hey, that's on the script.
And if you want to support Low Cloud Ain better than Kaguya's outfit supports her girls, then subscribe and hit the bell for notifications.
Super Robot Taisen OG Saga Endless Frontier, which I will be calling
Massive Bazingas.
Endless Frontier from this point forward, is a small DS game created by, who was it again? What's their names? Oh, right. Only the most important up-and-coming JRPG developer of the 21st century, Monolith Soft. Now,
Gigantic Jugs.
Endless Frontier is an incredibly unique game. The battle system is like nothing I've played before. The main goal is to build combos by juggling the enemy in the air, while switching in your 4 front row characters and calling in support from the back row. It's incredibly addicting at first. The biggest flaw with the game is that once the novelty wears, it becomes a bit repetitive. Same goes for its fan service. You see this the first time and you're like, nice. The second and third time you're like, after you realize you can't skip any of these scenes, you're like, either way,
Jiggling Orbs of Glory.
Endless Frontier is worth a playthrough just for that initial novelty. It's also worth a playthrough for its great characters, which is exactly why we're here today. There are 7 playable characters in this game, and to place them in a tier list, we have to consider front row ability and back row support, combo capabilities, damage cap, spirit and skills, stats, overdrive, and finally, how fast they can fill up the frontier gauge. Whew, that was a lot to burn through. This was a fun list to put together, so I hope you enjoy it. Now, without further ado, I give you the here. There isn't too much to say about Xiaomi, because there just isn't much said about her online. Xiaomi fades into the background of the optimal team in Endless Frontier due to her just being completely outshined by her partner Reiji. She has Valor, which helps, but low SP hurts her in the end. The best thing I can say is that she is a pretty good backline support that can juggle enemies for a long period of time, allowing you to switch in different frontliners. Some of her combos would be better than Reiji if it wasn't for Soul completely obliterating any hope she had. The low tier. Alright, let's pause for just a moment and bring up a heavy debate among the Super Robot Taisen community. There are 3 ways to increase damage in Endless Frontier. 2 skills. Valor, which increases damage by 1.5 damage, and Soul, which doubles damage. Both skills take away your ability to crit, which is the 3rd and final way to increase damage. Critical hits, with the right supports and equipment, can outdo Valor but not Soul. So at the end of the day, the order of damage multipliers goes as follows. Valor, then crits, then Soul. Now, on to our low tier. Ashen has one of the highest base strength stats in the game, and with the optimal crit strategy can dish out upper tier damage. But this is where her usefulness ends. Overall, her combos aren't the best, and she's a terrible back row support. Code Lamia is a decent mob sweeper, but beyond that isn't much of use. If she had Fury like Cosmos, she might be just as good, but ultimately she's going to cap off our low tier. The mid tier. And speaking of Cosmos, this wondrous robotic babe that seems to make a cameo in almost every Monolith Soft game is going to be the only member of our mid tier. Like I mentioned earlier, an optimal crit build will outdamage Valor, and Cosmos is the best crit build user in the game aside from Heiken. She has the 2nd highest base attack stat and hard-hitting combo moves. She has Fury, which allows her to immediately break the enemy's guard, and also has access to the incredibly useful Revive skill. Items that revive fallen allies are in short supply, so having that skill handy for just a little bit of SP goes a long way. If Cosmos' Overdrive could compete with Reiji or Kaguya, then she would easily be in the top tier. The top tier. Suzuka is the single best front row supporter with Cheer and Inspire, as well as the Frontier Gauge Sugar Mama. With all her supports active and the right moveset, she can cancel and fill the Frontier Gauge up to 95% in a single turn. The Dancer moveset still puts out incredible damage with a late cancel, and Finger is a great finishing move. Yes, she'll be out damaged by others, but with her in a supporting role, the usefulness of every other party member is kicked up to an 11. The final member of the top tier is Heiken. The main protagonist of Endless Frontier, Heiken is the 2nd best supporter in the game and has one of the highest base attack stats as well. Morale boosts the entire team's crit rate by 20% and is critical, no pun intended, in optimal crit damage for both Cosmos and Ashen. He has one of the highest damaging basic combos and a spirit that casts both Fury and Valor in one go. His overdrive is above average and his combos have incredible damage and juggling potential. Overall, Heiken is always a good choice for any party. The God tier. First on the God tier is Raiji. This is pretty simple. Raiji has Soul, which doubles his damage, and the second, maybe first best overdrive in the game. He'll most likely be your main damage dealer of any playthrough. The final reason he's in the God tier is his ability to have all 4 characters go first on the next turn. This allows you to set up a 4-character combo string with Raiji capping it off. Pull this off correctly and you can take down most bosses in just 2 turns. The final member of the God tier and top of this list is the well-endowed Princess Kaguya. Aside from her boobs being the butt of every single joke in the game, and I'm not kidding, she is also the single best party member. Kaguya has the late game spirit skill Miracle, which casts Soul along with a dozen other amazing skills all at once. Stack on Fury and you have a guard-breaking, damage-dealing babe. But the fun doesn't stop there. Just like her ample bosom, her usefulness is well-rounded and comes in pairs. Kaguya has the best damage and overdrive in the game, which may or may not tie with Raiji's, but also has the incredible support ability as well. Love heals the entire party at 100%, and she can also give SP and raise comm percentage. With the right attack combo, Kaguya can raise the frontier gauge to 50% in one turn. Overall, she is as awesome as her tatas would suggest. Now, as for best party setup, Kaguya and Raiji are a must-have and will be your main damage dealers. After that, I suggest Heiken for support and additional damage. The final member of the party should be either Suzuka for leveling and frontier gauge filling, or Cosmos for security and additional damage. And that's my list. I hope you enjoyed the
Great bulging rib cushions.